But without further ado, let's get this party started. I'm gonna bring Sarah up to this stage, and she is with Nonprofit Navigation. Thank you so much for being with us this evening. And I'm just curious, what do you all do? What's your mission?
So we're here to connect and collaborate for the greater good and impact. And one of the things we're celebrating today is Nonprofit Awareness Month.
Awesome. And how do you connect? How do you collaborate? Give me a little spiel on that.
Sure. So for this month, we just drafted a proclamation, which both the mayor of Denver and the governor for Colorado accepted as official. So it's official for Nonprofit Awareness Month for the month of November.
Well, congratulations. That's really exciting. I think we have a visual with that too coming up soon. But I know you have another piece of your work that I really want to hear about. So if you'll grace us with that.
Right. So as part of Nonprofit Awareness Month, we're inviting everybody to connect and to volunteer and donate and get involved in a charity that's close to your heart. Or maybe you don't know, maybe you want to learn more about, just connect to somebody in the community. The second piece of what we're doing is connecting people to the founders. Who are these people that have invented the nonprofits, that are behind them, and what are their stories? Because so many times we hear about the impact of the clients and the success, but who are the people behind that had the idea to make this change happen?
Yeah, and I think it's really inspiring for people to not just to get involved after hearing those stories, but how can you help your community? You know, like we all, especially in this time, I think have to think of ways to contribute. And like, why not start your own nonprofit, you know, and hear those stories from the ground up? So I think we have some people here tonight. Is that right?
We do. I want to introduce the founders of the Foundlings, Brandy and Sammy.
Let's give a round of applause. Thank you so much. And thank you, Sarah, for helping us out here tonight and telling us about your nonprofit. So give me some stories about your nonprofits.
Well, I'll let Brandy start. I'm Sammy, and obviously this is Brandy. Thanks for having us, Denver Open Media. Here you go.
So it all started back in maybe 2008, 2007, 2008, and I was actually playing a show at a music festival, and Sammy was bartending. And right after I played the show, Sammy said,
"Are you Filipino? Because you look Filipino."
And I was like, "Yes, I am. Are you?"
Yes, I am.
And we basically discovered that we're both adopted from the Philippines. And so at that moment, we just had this connection with music and with entertaining and with just kind of a heart for like kind of finding our roots. So we started actually doing events, doing our music in which we could raise money for what we thought was a random orphanage. Take it over from here, Sammy.
So, okay, I want to back up just one touch to kind of give you a frame of how beautiful I find this story, even though it is our story. I think one of the really amazing things is that when I say this out loud, it sounds like something out of a movie. So when I first saw Brandy perform, she's captivating in and of herself, and she's very talented. And I was like, wow, I feel so drawn to her. I have no idea why. And sometimes it just happens. And so we fast forward a little bit. We became fast friends, as total homies. And she's an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. We're both musicians. And we do our first event for an orphanage in the Philippines. And we raise some money, and we send the money back just to help them with some like bedding and some stuff. And we had no idea really much about that orphanage. We got connected through a friend who was over there. So then that was our first event. That was our taste. We're like, wow, that felt great. That was awesome. So we fast forward a few more years, and we got this heart to serve. We want to, be part of our culture, and we're raised by two very amazing families, but they're very Caucasian. Yeah. So we know nothing about our culture. We're like the whitest Filipinos ever. We don't know any Tagalog. We know very little. So in the process, we don't even know much about where we're from, where the orphanage that we're adopted out of is from. And it's just like these jigsaw puzzle pieces everywhere. So as we get into this story, what I want you to remember is the Philippines is one of the most densely populated countries on the planet.
Millions of people in just this one little city. Well, one gigantic city.
And so one of the things Brandy used to say to me right when we met, right from the get-go, she's like, I bet we're from the same orphanage. We're from the same orphanage. I wish I could say we were from the same orphanage. But I'm like, we're not from the same orphanage. And after 5 years or so of us doing that, I'm all, Brandy, we're not from the same orphanage. It's too densely populated. There's no way that's going to be possible. And so we do this next big push, and we team up with a company called Clean Water for clean water around the world. And they wanted to figure out how could we get attention on our cause. And I said, well, and as you guys know at the Open Media, the best things that sell are stories. And they were like, well, what story do you have? What should we say? And I was like, well, here's what I would say. I would say, hey, I'm Sammy, and this is my soul sister, Brandy, and we are going back to the Philippines to find our orphanage and take some water filters to some really, really in-need places after Hurricane, which one? It was, we have 30 seconds? Anyway, so we took water filters back there, and in the process, we go to find our orphanage, and as she's giving me her address to find her orphanage that we're going to go to first, I'm like, you keep giving me my address. And she's like, wait a minute.
We're from the same orphanage.
We're from the same orphanage. Booyah. So that's how we started, and that's how and why we started the Foundlings.
Thank you, Sammy and Brandy, for sharing that with us. That's really exhilarating. And Brandy, I'm so curious about your music now. So thank you again, and thank you to Nonprofit Navigation as well for bringing these two up here and getting that story. And it just shows you that we make connections and making an impact becomes accessible. It's just all about taking that risk and getting out there. So I feel really inspired right now. Yeah, of course.
So I think one of the things with the Foundlings is that we've had the opportunity to really jump out of our creative zones and just like dig into our passions, and that's one of the things that we really want to bring back to our orphanage. So the Foundlings is created so we can actually rebuild our orphanage, rebuild dreams, rebuild hope, and really show these kids like how creative and like when we live life with passion, just how beautiful life is. And like our world is a dark place and everybody needs to be that light. So just the fact that we can work with Nonprofit Navigation and be that light and be that love and be that hope and be that courage is like, it's a dream come true for Sammy and I. And it's like, I don't know, like everybody has a dream out there and everybody just go for it and follow your heart and like have courage and be brave.
I don't think I need to say anything else, right? So check out the Foundlings for sure. I look forward to learning more about your cause and what you're doing. And we do have a video from Nonprofit Navigation, so let's go to that.
We are Nonprofit Navigation, and we are here to create, connect, collaborate, and impact for the greater good. Do it alone. We are a catalyst for nonprofits so they can reach their goals, be empowered for organizational growth, community engagement, collaboration, and positive social change. Nonprofit Navigation is proud to present Uplifted, stories of social change and their nonprofit founders. Uplifted is sharing authentic, real stories of the founders who created the nonprofits that serve our communities. Who are the founders initiating and igniting programs for change? Who are the change makers serving our communities? What motivated these often unsung heroes to advance a cause? Uplifted recognizes both the struggles and successes founders experience when creating positive social change. Uplifted explores their nonprofit path, their motivation, their cause, and the solutions they are creating to achieve sustainable impact. These are the stories of ordinary people creating extraordinary change.
Why we started the Foundlings.org was really to give back the passion and the talent that we've been fortunate enough to learn and to grow from, and to really share what we love to do in the world with these orphans from our orphanage. Expand on that, Sammy.
Why we started the Foundlings as a passion project at first, but it really turned into something that we knew could make a massive impact, not just for the kids in the orphanage that we're from, but through the journey that we're taking, we've seen a lot of people really wanting to know how to become change makers themselves. So I think the reason always changes, but the underlying message we'd love to get across and why we're so passionate about our organization is that we know that just by doing what we're doing to make a change, that we can hopefully inspire other folks to do the same. And what we eventually are really, really dreaming of accomplishing with this organization is to instill our skill sets inside the orphanage so that they can use what we've learned and we've been so lucky to learn with music and fashion and marketing and some of the things that we've been so lucky to learn here in the States. We want to take that to them and let them use what we've been able to acquire to better their lives.
Yes, absolutely.
That's what we want to do.
I loved exploring the mountain with you.
You don't need a cape to be a hero. Nonprofit founders are creating extraordinary changes in our community. We invite you to join Nonprofit Navigation to create, connect, collaborate, and impact for the greater good. Join us online to share your founder's nonprofit story.
All right, let's give it up one more time for Nonprofit Navigation and the Foundlings.